To create a table in phpMyAdmin, first we need to log into phpMyAdmin. I'm going to do so using the default credentials, which are root without a password, and I'm going to use MariaDB as my server of choice. We click login, and we have logged into phpMyAdmin. Now you can see here that we already have a database with 2 tables inside of it. But I'm going to create a new database, name it production database, and we can also choose a collation here. That's not necessary, and I'm going to leave it as is. Click create. Now we have a database. To create a table, we need to name it. I'm going to name it users, and we need to assign the number of columns. I'm going to assign 4. Click create. Now we have 4 columns. First, we need to name them. So all users will have IDs, usernames, email addresses, and password hashes. Once we named our columns, we need to select their types. So ID columns will have integers as values, usernames will have varchar, which are variable character values or text values, the same for email addresses, and the same for password hashes. We need to define the length of the columns. So for IDs, 5 will do. For usernames, we're going to use 60. For email addresses, we're going to use 60. And for password hashes, we're going to use 60. Now you can also have default values. These are not necessary. I'm going to put demo for usernames and nothing for others. Collations are not necessary, attributes are not necessary, and these things are not necessary. But since we need ID columns to increment automatically, I am going to check auto increment here, and our database is going to assign a primary index here. Primary index is necessary for values in the column to increment automatically. We can also comment on the table. We can also define the collation for the table, and we can also specify a storage engine for the table. This is not necessary, and we can also define a partition for the table. This is mostly for big data sets. Click Save. Now we have a table. We can see here that we have a production database, and we have a users table. To insert data into the table, we need to click Insert here, then Add Values. ID can be left as is because it's going to be incrementing automatically. Username is going to be pre-filled because we have a default value as demo. We're going to define demo@demo.com as the email address and a password hash as a password. Click Go, and our database will craft an insert into query, bearing the table name, the columns we insert data to, and the values. Since values into tables are inserted using the insert into query, this is what we see. Once that query is executed, our table has 1 row. So this is how you create tables and add data into them using phpMyAdmin.